The real NBA draft lottery won't take place until August 25th. So for this mock draft, I used a simulator over at basketball.realgm.com. And as you can see, the Pistons jumped up to the number 1 spot. The Spurs, who actually still have a chance to make the playoffs, go up to the number 2 spot from the 11th best odds. The Cavs fall down to 3, and the Warriors fall down to 4. And so with the first pick, I have the Pistons taking Anthony Edwards. I think the Pistons are in a position where they should just take the best available player. And I have that being Edwards. He's a really athletic shooting guard, and he is a pretty good shooter too. I think he could improve in some areas, but that would be a good pick for the Pistons. With the second pick, I have the San Antonio Spurs selecting LaMelo Ball. If the Spurs did jump up to the number 2 spot, I could see them trying to trade down. But if they keep it, I have them taking Ball because he's such an intriguing prospect. And even though he doesn't fit into the traditional Spurs offense because he's such a ball dominant guard, I can see them having a hard time passing up his talent. With the third pick, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers selecting James Wiseman, the center from Memphis. The Cavs should take whoever the best player available is, regardless of position. But Wiseman fits their team needs well because they have a good young backcourt of Sexton, Garland, and Porter. Wiseman is a very athletic center. He was 7'1" with a 7'6" wingspan. And even though the center position has been devalued in the NBA and he's still a little bit raw, his athletic gifts give him the potential to be a real difference maker in the NBA. With the fourth pick, I have the Golden State Warriors selecting Tyrese Halliburton, the point guard from Iowa State. The Warriors are reportedly very high on Halliburton, with one report even saying they have him over LaMelo Ball, which isn't that surprising to me because Halliburton has a really high basketball IQ and he could play well off the ball. And the Warriors don't really need a ton of offensive firepower right now with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson coming back. So I think Halliburton would be a really great fit for the Warriors. With the fifth pick, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves selecting Onyeka Okongwu, the center from USC. I think the Timberwolves could use some defensive help alongside Karl-Anthony Towns. And I think Okongwu would be a good running mate alongside Towns. With the sixth pick, I have the Atlanta Hawks selecting Isaac Okoro, the small forward from Auburn. The Hawks are developing a good young roster, but they're pretty bad on the defensive end, and Okoro is one of the better defenders in this class. I think he'd be a great fit for that lineup and give some depth at the wing position, and he'd be a good fit for him. With the seventh pick, I have the New York Knicks selecting Deni Avdija, the small forward from Israel. He can do a little bit of everything, and I think he'd be a good fit alongside RJ Barrett, and they could have a good tandem for years to come. With the eighth pick, I have the Chicago Bulls selecting Obi Toppin, the forward from Dayton. After Zach LaVine, the Bulls don't have any definite stars, and I don't think they could pass on Toppin at this point, even though they have Wendell Carter Jr. and Lauri Markkanen as big men. I think Toppin is just too good to pass up at this point. With the ninth pick, I have the Charlotte Hornets selecting Killian Hayes, the point guard from France. I think Hayes is pretty good value at this point, and they could use another playmaker alongside Devonte Graham. With the 10th pick, I have the Washington Wizards selecting Devin Vassell, the wing from Florida State. The Wizards could use a lot of help on the defensive end as they were the worst defensive team in the league last year. And I think Vassell could slide in alongside Beal and Wall as a 3 and D wing player and help out them defensively. With the 11th pick, I have the Phoenix Suns selecting Aaron Nesmith, the small forward from Vanderbilt. I think the Suns value shooting a lot, and they're looking for players to complement Devin Booker. And Nesmith fits both those things, and I think he'd be a good fit for the Suns. With the 12th pick in the draft, I have the Sacramento Kings selecting Cole Anthony, the point guard out of UNC. He didn't have a very good year in his only year at UNC. That made his draft stock go down quite a bit, but I'm still fairly high on him. I still think he could be a pretty good NBA player. And landing in Sacramento with De'Aaron Fox and a place where he could play off the ball and develop into a really good scorer could actually be the best thing for him in the long run. With the 13th pick, I have the New Orleans Pelicans selecting Saddiq Bey, the small forward from Villanova. I think the Pelicans already have some really good pieces in place, but they could use a 3 and D wing, and Bey really fits that profile really well. He played 2 years at Villanova, and I also think he would be ready to contribute right away, and it fits the Pelicans' timeline well. With the 14th pick, I have the Portland Trailblazers selecting Precious Achiuwa, the power forward from Memphis. The Trailblazers already have some offensive firepower in the backcourt with Lillard and McCollum, but Achiuwa would give them some athleticism and energy on the defensive end in the front court, which I think could help them in the long run. That's all I have for this mock draft. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you.